Hey there. This is sort of a qualifier to the last video that I did about Admiralty Law and the captain's mast of that sailor that was being punished. And because I love my father dearly. He was a beautiful spirit. And it's why I picked my biological parents right on time. High precision mathematical timing factors of echo maps, real echo maps. And my father served in World War II and was and of course he had a purple, I shouldn't say of course, but he received a Purple Heart. Okay, he was badly wounded. Okay, and so I have known throughout my life many, because I grew up, for example, in Tustin, California, a stone's throw from the El Toro Marine Corps Air Station, where all the big blimp hangars were, right? And and so and so I've been around a lot of folks that have served in all the wars. Actually, folks I've met that served in World War One, World War II, Korea, code talkers, Navajo, code talk. One of my supervisors was a code talker, Marine Corps. Okay, and so, and of course my father put me in a military academy when I was 5 years of age, and to learn how to assemble and disassemble with a blindfold on at 5 years of age, an M1 carbine, right, and put a uniform on me, and they gave me stripes, okay, and learning how to do, bounce a quarter on the bed, everything is about obey the orders. This is how you do it. So my father used to call that self-discipline, to obey all the orders. So I think in terms of self-discipline, which is spiritual discipline, which is spiritual order, which is mathematical order, which is spiritual and mathematical integrity, which is engineering integrity to build a universe born out of pure, eternal, absolute love, because that's what we see in our mirror. I see you, I see me. That's how simple that part is. So if I'm not experiencing in that in me by virtue of what I'm experiencing in you, then I know something's wrong, which is a test light, which is called a logic test, which is the test result of a future potential memory. Okay? And how that relates to a false light finite system and an eternal life energy matrix that's always on fire. So we're never losing any power. Right? So we're experiencing perfect balance. Right? And so that's easy. That's mathematical balance that equals it all out. So we're all equal to all living spirits because we're all sacred living temples, sun temples. Right? Our solar rishi coded identity, our solar identity. Right? The relationships that we have with other cellular states of organization, of awareness. And so I'm very sensitive to these issues. One of my closest friends that I had, for example, was a decorated Marine who served in the 5th Marines during World War II. So he was on Saipan, okay, and Okinawa. He served in Korea, and then he served 3 tours in Vietnam as a doorship gunner with a 50 caliber machine gun. He was an alcoholic. Okay. That's how I ended up in Alcoholics Anonymous, was through Jack. Jack was from South Carolina. He was a Southern boy, a Southern belle. Ring the bell. Remember, ring the bell. Chow time. Right? So I was raised by a Navy commander. That was my father. My father was a Navy commander. And so my father felt self-discipline was absolutely critical, and being honest, being absolutely honest, telling the truth to everybody, no matter who they are. Living in the truth is being what love is, because now I'm experiencing what love is, which is what the truth is. So we know what the truth is, right? And now we're into consequences. I've told the truth and been hurt because they don't care. You give them a reason to hurt you, right? The electronic transactional states of awareness, right? Communicating with RoboCops, don't have any feelings. They got to follow the orders. There's no exception to that. Because they realize that if they don't follow the orders, what's going to happen? Just like the guy that got 3 days bread and water. Because they're held captive by the same system, which is the trap, the experiment trap that failed. And that's called a failure analysis in a system that fell. So it doesn't take long to test the circuits and know that, does it? Because what are we testing? The return flow. The speed of the return flow, which is a mathematical function, which is mathematical integrity. So that's called a system failure notice, right? Testing the circuits, testing the drive motor, right? The motor, the 13th mother, or 13-star firelight cycle. That's the core. That's the inner core. That's the true still point of a true echo. So I share these things because of it's not hard for me to cry for them. Okay, I cry for them all the time. Okay, because what it means, it's no simple than, you know, you want to go be a flyer. I'll share this with you. I actually was going to sign up when I worked at the Naval Weapons Station. Of course, then I'd have to explain my timeline why I did this. But I applied to go into the United States Navy when I had finished. Educational-wise, you know, they want you to have their requirement is to have a 4-year college degree from one of their schools, one of their corporate military schools, to show that you have performed the programming, load the program. Remember, load the programs. So you loaded the program. Okay, and there's your certificate. You loaded the program. You successfully completed the program, and here's your certificate. Okay, so now that you got that permit, which is a permit, now you have a permit to come into their permitting system, their system. And so I went down to a naval recruiting station for flight school to see if I could go fly jets, right? And so my father took me up in a plane when I was just a little tyke. I think I was about 4 years of age, somewhere right around in there. And he loaded me up on I believe it was a carrier called Saratoga that was parked in San Diego. And he, you know, they have little ladders that go up to the cockpit. And it was a F9F built by Grumman called a Panther. It was called a Panther jet. And so my dad, I'm just a little kid. And so my dad hoisted me up, walking up the ladder, and then put me down in the seat. And then my dad climbed in, and then I sat on my dad's lap. And we took off from that carrier, right? And he showed me how to fly that jet, right? So, and that's cool, huh? My father was a scout pilot, which is reconnaissance. So you know what a reconnaissance starship is, right? A reconnaissance unit, scanning the territory and reporting back. How bad is it? It's bad. I just ran a test flight on this system. And sort of like that, you know, and what's required, right? And that's called feedback. That's called an upload. We got the scan results. And so you know how it relates to results, testing results. Future potential memory results. So when you're always on fire, you already know the next result, which is always going to be what love is. That's an eternal energy matrix, which means we never experience anything less than what love is. So when you already know that at 4 years of age, you can imagine what it was like to navigate through a minefield, which is a trap, right? Traps everywhere, right? Which are consciousness traps. Knowing how to navigate your way through consciousness traps so that your energy is not held captive by running those programs, which are trap programs, which are false light memory driven programs with their blank slate memory wipe technology. Now you don't remember. A maze. Locked, trapped in a maze. Whoa. It's a mathematical maze. Universe Killer Mathematics.